I hope that's a bit better. I was just saying thank you everyone who's coming from Gianni's stream. Great start to the stream and great start to the deadline. But I hope you can see and hear me now. I was just saying thank you all for joining me. I was just over at Gianni's channel, and if you're coming from there, welcome to the stream. If you're coming from my own channel, welcome back to another stream. I'm really looking forward to it. And again, thank you, Gianni, for having me on and raiding the channel. I mean, it's always a great start to the weekend. And in terms of FPL, really looking forward to what's to come. I feel like we're at a turning point now. When I look at the landscape that is to come, and great to see you all in chat. Much love to everyone, and we'll be answering all your questions throughout the stream. It's a long stream to go, so be patient with me, and I'll get through as much content as I can. But let's quickly pull up my team for a bit of context. And Spurs are going down. Hopefully not on Sunday though. I mean, we could lose the rest of the games for a season if we beat Arsenal on Sunday. Isn't that right, Kieran? And happy birthday to Kieran in chat. Anyway, let's quickly pull up my team for game week 27, and then we'll get to some of your questions in chat. So this is where I stand for game week 27. For me, I feel like I'm actually quite happy with my current team for this game week. I mean, again, like I said on Gianni's channel, I am off the back of a wildcard 24. I have 2 free transfers and 1.4 million in the bank. For this game week, I don't think I have any issue with going into the game week with this. And to be honest, it's probably not even passive. I mean, you could easily play Ajuri and Timber this game week, and I'd have absolutely no problems with that. And while we're here, let's actually put up a poll. Let's do who is your captain on this game week. Let's do Haaland. Who else we got? Palmer, for those who are lucky enough to own him. And let's put a other. Do vote on the poll, but getting back to my own team, like I was saying, and by the way, we're just after hitting 9,600 subscribers, so thank you to everyone who's smashing the buttons that's coming in. Much love to all of you guys, and especially if you're new, welcome to the channel. And I'll actually pop out chat here so you guys can see it on stream. But yeah, for me, this game week is going to be an interesting one. The last 2 game weeks a slight bit underwhelming for me. I feel like that was the case for many. You know, a lot of people might have hit the triple captain. I myself hit the bench boost because, I had 15 playing players. I was looking at my team, and because I've hit the early wildcard, I feel like the bench boost is going to cause me more hassle in the future than it is good. So I opted to use it early. And that mightn't be for many, especially now considering how the fixtures have landed for the FA Cup. But I'm still quite confident that was the better play for me to do. And again, just looking at my team, like even this game week, I have a good bench, and I feel like it was always going to be the case where I'm going to have somewhat of a decent bench, and I'm happy enough to go into the game week with this team. For me, the big talking point, and it is one that's being talked across the community, and that is whether or not you want to be breaking up your team to go to the likes of a Mo Salah or Erling Haaland. Good to see you, Anto, in chat. How are you? All the FPL Shy members. Good to see you, Chris, as well. I know you're in here. And everyone else in chat who's popping in questions, I'll get to you in just a second after I ramble on about my team. But like I was saying, the reason I really, really, really like Mo Salah and Ekitike or / Thiago is the 2 extra fixtures I get if I sell Rice and Haaland. Now, for me, the problem with it is captaincy. Do I trust Mo Salah enough to captain him in all the weeks I don't want to captain Erling Haaland? And if you're asking me right now, absolutely not. But the only reason I think that was because how, during the season it's gone for me when I did do that. This is a different situation. I feel like Salah's after settling in better since after AFCON. All the noise is gone. And there's less expectation on Liverpool. Like, no one is really expecting them, they can't really go for the league anymore. So now they're just putting in performances and starting to put things together. And Salah's great minutes, of course, like I said. And I do quite fancy him. And extra fixture in 31, likely to have a double in 33. Another potential double in 36, depending on what happens in the European places for Palace and Liverpool, I believe it is. So, and Villa, sorry. I do think it is an interesting move. I mean, let me quickly pull up some of his fixtures to come. Just to give you some perspective. So, if I quickly pull up Mo Salah. 14 million currently, who is much cheaper than he was at the start of the season. Look at that fixture run. Nottingham Forest, West Ham, Wolves, Tottenham and Brighton. And to be honest, looking at his numbers in recent weeks, they've been very good since coming back. 0.35, 0.43, 0.33 and 0.42 expected goals in the last 4 since coming back. It is very appealing to me. And to be honest, this is what you guys are for, to shut me down. Are you not scared of Brentford players this game week? So that's the thing. I don't think I'd ever be scared of Brentford players. You know, if it was... That's the thing. Like, we can see teams like Liverpool play Burnley, and all the players from Liverpool who you expect to do well, which we've seen this season, will all blank. Liverpool are a better attack than Brentford. That doesn't mean Brentford and Igor Thiago or Tyra Dango can't blank. So if I'm scared, no, absolutely not. My perspective when looking at something like that is, who have I got in place rather than the Brentford players? And if it is a Thiago and a Dango that I'm scared of, who do I have in in those positions? For me, in comparison to price points, well, it's probably 2 midfielders that I have rather than a Dango or a Thiago. For me, it's probably Ndiaye in comparison to a Thiago. Am I happy to go with Ndiaye with United at home in comparison to Thiago with Brighton? Absolutely I am. I would take that on every single game week, and I actually think it could go either way. Ndiaye is a midfielder, DEFCON, penalties, good fixture, no problem with that. Declan Rice, everyone has him, so that's not a like for like comparison. And then Dango, like, I mean, I'm probably playing an extra defender in comparison to what a lot of people are doing if they have a Dango. Like, I can't imagine people are playing 4-4-2 with Dango. And by the way, I do think he's a great option for sure with those fixtures. Again, if I just quickly pull up Brentford's fixtures, they are phenomenal. I mean, I don't think you could argue that this is a better fixture run than even Chelsea had. It is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. But it's the price point. This is where things could go well for those who do go with Dango. I mean, 5.8 million. The only question I would have is, you know, how sure his minutes are going to be going into these run of games. Again, he's, no doubt he's in the starting 11, but is it enough to get 70 minutes week in, week out with Dango? That would be my question. And at 5.8 million, I don't think you can have too many arguments, even if he doesn't. But for me, great option. It's the price point. But am I more than happy to take on a Dango with, let's just say, in my case, because he's the same price, Danny Munoz, 5.8 million? Absolutely I am. So, yeah, sure. Isolated, Dango and Thiago can do very well, but could Munoz and Iliman Ndiaye do equally as well? Absolutely they can. So I think if it were a case where my back line had, let's just say Munoz played against, let's just say Chelsea, and Iliman Ndiaye played against Arsenal, and Dango played against Burnley, and Thiago played against Burnley, then I would be quite worried and would be more inclined to make an adjustment, if you understand what I'm saying. Anyway, that's where I'm currently at with my team. I don't think it's necessary for me to make a move. I think it's who I am in which I want to make a move, and I do think it does set me up better. Also, bringing in 2 extra fixtures in 31 allow me to potentially take out another fixture for 31, if that makes sense. So bringing in two players for Haaland and Rice, and then actually bringing in Semenyo, it would actually open the door to bringing in Semenyo. So if I quickly show you what I mean, if I go to Gameweek 31, if I were to go in with my exact same team as is, I would currently have, how many is that? 8 players. And I have 6 transfers. So that means I need to use 3 transfers in order to get 11. So therefore, I have room for error to bring in another player who blanks in 31. So let's just say I end up in the midst of a Gameweek 27-31, I actually do Semenyo win at some point. And let's just say in theory I had done the Ekitike move / Thiago, and also Mo Salah in for let's just say it is a Enzo, and that means that I probably have to knock down Timber as well at some point. But basically it opens the door for going Antoine Semenyo by bringing in 2 Liverpool assets. And not only do I get to bring in 2 Liverpool assets, but they have a great fixture on. And I do like quite a lot doubling up on an attack. I didn't mean, particularly in this stage of the season. By the way, I need to tweet that I'm live. I'm after completely forgetting. Let me quickly tweet. Completely forgot. And do interact with this, by the way, if you are watching to get us out there. I completely forgot. I probably should have posted that. My bad. There you go. Sorry, guys. But like I was saying, I can have Semenyo, I can have Haaland, I can have Salah and Ekitike, no Haaland, and potentially knock down some of the guys who I just feel like are not pulling their weight currently, and also have room for double game weeks later down the line. So that's why it's so appealing to me. It's not only Salah / Ekitike, it's also, I can bring in Semenyo. Whereas I can't have Haaland and Semenyo if I want to go into 31 with a full team. Whereas if I move accordingly, I can. Anyway, let's get to chat. Again, I want to answer as many of your guys' questions. So let's see who we have here. We have Dr. Mazadi says, it will all come to question, is Salah worth 14 million now? For me, I don't think this is a different sort of season. And I've thought about this quite a lot. Quite often, I'm someone to chase the players who are worth their value. And over again in previous seasons, we've seen when you can get to the likes of a Rodgers or a Palmer at their cheapest, it goes a very, very long way. This season has been Semenyo. But I don't think this has been a season that value matters too much. I don't think captaincy has been so all over the place. There's not been a standout captain since near enough the start of the season when Haaland went on the run. And there's been no one who you can trust to captain every single game week. And that's where you don't mind spending the extra money on a 14 million asset. That's why we pay for them, because they're not only a great option, but they're also captain material, and you feel comfortable captaining them every single game week. We don't currently have that. I maybe Haaland this game week, sure, but again, with his fitness questions, maybe even that's a doubt for many people. And with DEFCON coming into the game, it's completely changed value in FPL, and I think that's completely fair to say. Every single defender is better value than any other player in the game. Like every single defender. Gabriel is the most expensive defender in the game, and he is better value than any midfielder or forward in the game. And that's because of DEFCON. And now, I'm not going to necessarily say that's an issue. I do think the DEFCON coming into the game is good for the game, but that has completely changed my thought process on the value of value in FPL. I don't necessarily think it matters. So I have no problem with paying 14 million for Salah, even if he's not pulling his value, as long as in the weeks where I want and trust him, let's just say it's an easier fixture, West Ham for example, and captain him, that he does well. He can blank in other games, but the most important thing when I'm going for a value player like that, whether it's Palmer, Saka, Haaland, is I'll pick out the weeks in which I want to captain him, and that's where I'll be making up my points, not necessarily over a run of games, if you know what I mean. Sushan says, up to 9k in the world, would you bench boost the bench of Dubravka, Rice, Timber and Mukiele? You know what, I think I would. At the end of the day, we're still very much backing Arsenal in this game. I fancy Rice to get DEFCON. What I would say though is, with the Arsenal guys, I know there's a lot of questions about whether or not Timber is going to be dropped. First off, I do not see that happening. Going for the title under pressure, you do not drop your best right back in a North London derby. I mean, that's just asking for trouble. So I do not see Timber getting dropped, first off. Secondly, I do think this will be a feisty game. There's a lot of hatred in this game for sure, and I think there's a lot of pressure on Arsenal. I think Spurs are going to well play into that. We're after bringing in a Croatian manager who's best friends with Antonio Conte. You better know that dark arts are coming out in this game. Now, that's not to say that Arsenal still can't get a result, but I think Spurs will make it frustrating for Arsenal. And we're going to have to. I mean, if we want any way to win this game, we're going to have to frustrate the life out of them. I don't think there's any world in which we score one or two past them. I don't think that's a likely scenario. It's going to be a close game if we're going to win it. Or it'll be the other way around, where they'll just breeze through, because given our squad, 13 fit players, a new manager, etc., captain out due to suspension, to there is to door. I think it'll be a feisty game, but that is a good bench boost, and I would still use that. With the form Salah has shown, I'm surprised he is still 14 million. Yeah, it is a surprising thing for sure, but I think a lot of people jump ship quite early. I'm selling Raya, Kelleher or Martinez. I don't know how you have three goalkeepers, Alan, but I would be selling Raya in that case. Start Gahey or Timber. I would definitely be starting Gahey. I mean, Gahey can get DEFCON, good attacking threat. A better fixture in my opinion, and also a home fixture. Worse defence, but I still prefer Gahey. Do I start Anderson for Nottingham Forest and Mukiele? I would start Anderson. I think the unknown with Anderson, with the new manager, how good he is at DEFCON anyway. I'd be interested to see what type of role he picks up for this Forest team now. Looking to go Timber to Hill, Obi to Thiago. Thoughts? I quite like that. I think it sets you up really nice for the future. Hill is great value asset. And again, it's less about Timber and Hill and more about Thiago. I feel like, if you really feel like you need Thiago because how good he's been so far this season, then absolutely. Rayan or Dango already have Thiago. For me, I would go Dango. I've no issue with doubling up on an attack that's been functional. More than I have a dilemma, says Liam. Can you help me start 2 and bench 1 out of Dango, Krupi and Senesi? Also, do you think Captain Enzo is a good move? I don't think I'd Captain Enzo over Haaland, I'll be completely honest. Again, if Enzo had penalties, I would be all for it for sure. Who would I bench out of Dango, Krupi and Senesi? Well, I would be benching Krupi personally. I don't think this would be a high scoring game, West Ham versus Bournemouth. Again, I could be completely wrong. I often make my picks based on how I see the games going. Whereas Dango, he's a very exciting pick. I think his minutes will be good for this game and don't mind going to him at all and starting him. Choi, bench 2 of Gabriel, Hill, Timber, Anderson and Cash. I will be playing Matty Cash, and that's for sure. I think I'd definitely be playing Gabriel, and I think I'll play Hill. Selling Lacroix this game week. Best defenders over the next few weeks. Thinking Virgil. Yeah, for me, Virgil definitely. If not Virgil, go to a Konate. Why not? Elsewhere, I don't fancy too many other assets, I'll be completely honest. Start Gahey or Timber Gahey, like I said. Start Senesi or Alderete. I would start Senesi. Thomas says, I have 3 free transfers. I want to sell Evan Nilsson, Dorgu, Tarkovsky for Hill, Konate. Can't get Van Dijk. The next week, Royce and Verse, and then roll till 31 if everything goes to plan. I mean, it sounds a great plan, Thomas. And I have no issue with getting Hill and Konate. I think they're actually great options and slightly underrated. Would you prefer João Pedro or Palmer or none as an are they fixture proof for the run of fixtures? I would definitely prefer to have Palmer. I don't think that's any debate at all. Again, it really depends on, I suppose, how you feel about this Chelsea team. For me, I feel like Chelsea at home, regardless of who the manager is at Stamford Bridge, can always come up with some sort of result. 4 wins in the last 5 for Liam Senior's Chelsea. I mean, I know the fixtures have been great, but that's part of it. You can only play who's in front of you, and they've been phenomenal. For me, in this run of games, though, I think you're absolutely right to probably hold off. I mean, my preference would be not to own him, and I will more than likely be selling Enzo going into next game week. But let's quickly go to FPL team then. How do I plan on this game week? So this is what I want to do for this game week. Again, my team is already in place. I've shown you on my screen Senesi in for Timber. I think there's very little in that, by the way. And then in game week 28, like if I rolled, this is what I'd be at. And I look at this and I go, who needs to go? Realistically, the Chelsea assets don't need to go. Chalobah is great for DEFCON, so I don't really mind having him. Enzo probably, as much as he's been really poor and he's missing out on penalties, but realistically, he is the heartbeat of the Chelsea team. I think he's still a decent hold for 6.9 million. And also, you probably play Dubravka over Sanchez, but again, I think there's very little in that. Brentford are a very, very functional team, so I don't think it's as easy as just going to Sanchez on the bench and Bruno will be the captain for this game week. But I don't fancy Royce with Chelsea at home at all, actually. I wouldn't want to play him in that game. I don't love Jurrien Timber for Chelsea at home either. Not that again, I don't want people to think that I'm still not high on Timber or the Arsenal defence as if they're not the best defence in the league. They by far are. But again, at 6.4 million, I'm paying for a player who has not got clean sheets in recent weeks. The fixtures are tough, especially in the next 5 from a clean sheet perspective, maybe next 6. The pressure is on. White is fit. He doesn't get DEFCON. His attacking threat has been good this season, but he's not got the returns. You know, that is an expensive price to pay, and he blanks in game week 31. You need to consider that. With all things considered, like, I think there is, and I think it's fair to look elsewhere. So this is why I really want to show you and pencil in the move of doing Salah in this game week. Again, I know you're probably thinking, you know, that's fucking idiotic, and I can understand that. But, you know, whether it is Thiago I bring in or Ekitike up top, for me, I just, my preference really is Ekitike. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's how raw of a player he is, and just watching him, you know, it is exciting. Liverpool are very good attacking. If we look at Rob T's graphics, which we'll pull up now, over the next 5, who are top of the 3? Liverpool, and I don't think that's much of a surprise. If we just look at the markets for the next run of games, Liverpool is sitting at 10.1 again because they have a fixture in game week 31, and it's absolutely crazy for me to see City second in that, considering that they don't have a fixture in 31. But yeah, just look at Salah, and even this game week, sure, there's 0.6 in the difference with City and Liverpool, but I mean, this is if we're talking the grand scheme of things, this is an off form Haaland. I know Salah has been off form for the season, but why not take a gamble? I gain an extra fixture, I gain a differential. It lets me get Ekitike, who I actually also really like. It also lets me bring in Semenyo later down the line. And just to show you what that looks like if I were to do it this game week. So this is how my team this game week would look with 0.4 million in the bank. I think it's a great team. And I think people are also forgetting, like, I think Forest are a team to target this game week. Again, they're after getting a new manager. I don't think it is the worst appointment. I don't think it's the best appointment. But Forest have been shaky all the season. The managers have come in and out of the team. A lot of people really want me to do the move. I really want to do the move. Like, it is so tempting for me. And I would captain Salah for the next 5 game weeks, even against Tottenham, who are my own team. It would be the most typical thing ever for Salah to gain form and just run through Tottenham, like we've seen him do throughout previous seasons. And then, just for context, in game week 28, this is how the team would look. Salah with the armband with West Ham at home. I mean, it doesn't get better than that, even though West Ham have looked better in recent weeks. It does not get better than that. Hello, Haran, I hope you're well. Dabito, I didn't know you were a member. Hello, Dabito. Let me know when you... Oh, it's Davis. Change the channel name for my little nephew, helping him out with his One Piece character. Oh, that's so cute, man. That is brilliant. Hello, Davis, though. Good to see you. I didn't know you were a member on that channel. Or I didn't know you could even change the name of your channel like that. But good to see you, Davis. I hope you're well. And he's another man who's actually gone towards Salah so far this season. Anyway, in game week 28, what I'd be looking to do is probably sell Enzo Fernandez. Again, I think I could sell him this game week. Or what I could do is actually just roll, which I don't have a problem with, and doing a Jurriën Timber or a Chalobah down probably next game week. Now, the reason I quite like that and preference to do it next game week is to get Antoine Semenyo. For me, Antoine Semenyo is probably the highest priority player on this list when I'm looking at players in the game. The only thing put me off him is game week 31. It's a bit more impactful for myself because I've already used my wildcard. A lot of people will have not already used their wildcard, so they can dead end, which is completely fine. I'll take credit for the craze on Salah, says Anto. Absolutely, I do think he's a good option going forward. And how I'd get to Semenyo would be through Enzo. It has to be through Enzo because I won't want to hold him throughout this run. That means in game week 29, I have to make up 0.9 million. Now, that could be through Chalobah, like I said. 0.9 million from Chalobah is... I don't know how much Chalobah is, but let's just say from Timber, it is a bit easier to do. And I actually don't think I can get to Konate. 0.2 off Konate, so it would have to be someone cheaper than Konate. And to be honest, I think there is, a plethora of players I could go to. I could go to a Brentford defender. I could go to Coyote. Because why not? Great fixture run. In 29 it probably is a bit too late to go to Coyote, even though the fixtures are still good for the next 5 game weeks. Yes, maybe if you include the United game as well and West Ham. But that's one of the options I could do. And for me, that covers some sort of City, which is enough for me, a team who are going for the title. Even though I'll be missing the pen taker, to be honest. But I don't know, lads. It's just playing on my mind. And something I've been thinking about for the last 2 weeks, ever since the double game week. For game week 28, go to Enzo to Semenyo and Cucurella to O'Reilly for a hit. It's hard to say right now, Maliki. But on paper, I mean, it sounds great. I can't have too many disputes with that. Krupi, Garner, or Alderete says Waprino. For me, I would play Krupi. And Wara says, hello FPL differential goat Chai. He says, here's my team. Brian Robbie in there. Thoughts on Timber? Thank you, Anto, for the one gifted membership. As usual, Anto has gifted one membership in, I think, the last 7 streams in a row now. Absolute legend, Anto. Much love, my man. And congrats to Oliver Dapper, who's won it. Oliver, if you're in here, do say hello. I hope you are well. Anyway, just to go back to Amara's question. On Timber to Lewis Potter, Van Dijk, and Raul to Strand for -4. Amara, I don't love the -4, to be honest. I think I would probably try hold off. Unless you want to do one move of Timber to Van Dijk and hold Raul for the time being. That would be my preference. I want to captain Strand Larsen. See. That's a different story if you want to captain Strand Larsen. I mean, if you're that confident and you're going to captain, then go for it. But it wouldn't be my preference overall. Start Rayan or Soboslai? I would probably play Soboslai, I'll be honest. Benching headache between Elliot Anderson and Harry Wilson. I'd have to play Harry Wilson. I think it's a great fixture. Welcome to the members, Oliver. Thank you, Anto, for gifting the membership. As always, absolute legend. Shall I use my last free transfer, Royce to Rodgers? I actually quite like that. I think it's a great game for Villa, for sure. I like that move. If it's not Rodgers, then Semenyo. Again, really depending on what you're doing in 31. Would you start Mukiele for Fulham at home or Timber for Tottenham away and triple Arsenal defence again? I would probably play Fulham. Spread the load. Play for DEFCON. Who to bench out of Timber, Cash and DCL? I would probably bench DCL, I'll be honest. I look at how this game is going to go for Villa versus Leeds. Of course, Villa play a very high line. DCL is not very much known for running in behind. You prefer him around the 6-yard box, which I'm sure you'll get a chance or two, but I would play Cash at home versus Leeds. Who to bench? Play one out of Watkins, Gahey, Saliba, Sarr. I would definitely play Sarr. Timber to Virgil van Dijk. I quite like that move, and it's one I've actually recommended this week. My rank is 2 million. Just to take risk, Chai. Thank you. No worries, Umwara. But a -4 is going to put you to 2.2 million. Just keep that in mind. Mukiele or Hill or Wilson on the bench. I already have roofs. I would play Wilson for sure. Royce plus Mane plus Timber to Soboslai plus João Pedro plus Hill. What are your thoughts? I don't like those moves random, I'll be completely honest. Bench Royce or Wilson? I'll be benching Royce. Adam, channel member, says, would you sell Timber and Royce to Rodgers and Wirtz and Virgil van Dijk? Absolutely, I would. I think those moves set you up, one, good for the future, and you're getting towards more value assets for their run. Captain Ekatike, Enzo, Rodgers, or Semenyo? I think it would be Semenyo for me this game week. FPL M says, if you have triple Arsenal defence, would you sell Timber for Virgil van Dijk? I think regardless of how many Arsenal defenders I had, I would probably do it anyway. I quite fancy Virgil van Dijk for this run. Other defenders, Shalaba, Anderson, and Malik Chow. Yeah, I do fancy Virgil van Dijk. Also, you can guarantee Virg is going to get 90 minutes even when Champions League comes around. I think it's going to be a different question for Timber. Whether or not he's going to get as consistent minutes. Again, let me know if I'm wrong, Davis. But when Champions League comes back around, Timber has had his minutes managed at points in the season. And I don't think there'll be too much issue with White getting a game or two. Thank you for subscribing, Sandrew. Much love. Davis is tempted to play Matty Cash over Timber. What are your thoughts? I think I would do that. Again, Villa are a team who are kind of being slept on, in my opinion. I think the reason we don't talk about them is because, they're not City or Arsenal, which is completely fair, but they're very, very close in terms of what they could do this game week. I think they're great for this game week and going forward because they have a fixture in 31. Jose is 5.6k overall with all his chips left. Phenomenal position to be in, Jose. Fair play. I mean, I'd kill to be in a spot like that. Hope to have a great end of the season. I'm sure you will with those chips that are remaining. For this game week, would you bench Garner or Alderete? I don't think there's too much in that. I'll be completely honest. I think my preference would be Alderete, I want to say. It's been a while since we had a good Sunderland result. Home fixture, gets points for a clean sheet. I'd probably play Alderete. Again, very little in it. How much risk with Dango with Ramadan minutes? Yeah, that's what I was saying. There's definitely some sort of risk with going with Dango. But again, at 5.8 million, you have to appreciate that. Like, I own Iliman Ndiaye, and I understand he's not going to return every single game week. But over a course of games, I could trust in an asset like Iliman Ndiaye. And I don't mind if he blanks every now and then. Morning Choi says, Rakara, lads, my lips are absolutely fried, by the way, if you see me putting on Vaseline. Patience it is then, says Random. Yeah, I would much prefer Random to definitely be patient. Rascara says, thoughts on Semenyo captain. Look, I don't mind a Semenyo captain this game week. City are projected to do so well, and that brings us up to taking a look at this game week in terms of projections from Solio, which always intrigued me going into the game week. And let me quickly zoom in for you guys so you can see it. I'll leave you take a second to digest for those who haven't seen it yet. But, Cole Palmer, very rarely do we see someone who's not Bruno Fernandes or Haaland lead the list in any given game week. Of course, the fixture for Chelsea this game week is that good that Palmer is leading the line on this table. And I think it's absolutely right. I mean, out of all the premium assets in the midfield, when they go play a poor team, Palmer has been the one who's probably popped up in the most frequent in terms of getting monster hauls. I mean, he's been absolutely ridiculous. Even against Tottenham, that one time around where he scored 2 penalties, he can get a haul out of nowhere. That's just the type of player he is. For me, what else is interesting is Enzo at 5.3. And that just goes to show how good his numbers have been in terms of underlying data, even though he's not got the outcomes we probably would have been looking for in terms of owners. But definitely a good hold this game week. Sarr in 5th place, which is brilliant as usual, and Mo Salah in 6th, which is very appealing to me. I mean, only, what's that, 0.9 in the difference from Salah to Haaland. I know it's projected points, but considering how high City are for this game week versus Newcastle, it is very, very close. It would be funny if Palmer was rested and actually Enzo got the penalties. That'd be a dream come true. Unbiased opinions on the North London derby then in chat. Let me know, first off, you guys, what you think of this North London derby. How do you feel it's going to go? And then also, Simi is saying 4 goals in the last 6 games. Not great for Villa, but you know who will be involved. Exactly that, Simi. You do know who's going to be involved, and you know who's going to get the minutes. For me, again, like I spoke on Gianni's channel, how I feel about this North London derby, I feel like it couldn't come in a better time and place for Spurs in consider. Like, if this was Thomas Frank and he had continued his tenure at Spurs, I'd have no hope going into this game. I'll be completely honest. Now, that's not to say I have much hope going into it right now, but I have more hope than I had done before going into the game. That's for sure. I think it could be tight. I can see a 1-1 draw. And that is part hopeful, part biased, even though you asked me not to be biased. But an at-home fixture in a North London derby can be any result. We've seen that throughout seasons. This time around, Spurs are definitely a weakened prospect. I mean, but it is the new manager bounce like you're saying in chat, Harren. Look, I think it'll be a very, very feisty game. The pressure is on for us, and we're going to frustrate them. No doubt about it. Just another thing to note, lads. Rice 13th on this list. And it's quite interesting because, I'm more than happy to bench Timber, but I'd prefer to play Rice over Timber. Good to see it. backed by some sort of model as well. Hopefully an Arsenal clean sheet this week, says Oliver. He says, as I'm tripled up on the Arsenal defence. That is bold. That is very, very bold. But I don't mind that at all. Sorry, I'm just looking through. HAALAND, Royce, Timber out for Ekitike, Semenyo and Van Dijk. See, when you say it like that, I mean, they sound absolutely brilliant. Like, I love those moves, personally. And another thing to note, by the way, I know I'm kind of getting sidetracked here, but good to see that I own Chalobah, Munoz and Gabriel for this game week. I also own Royce, Enzo, Bruno, and HAALAND. I mean, that's always a good sign. I just wonder, can I bring in a Mo Salah? Can I stretch to a Mo Salah, lads? I know I've been speaking about it since the start of the stream, but it's just so tempting. And then let's bring up some of the projections for the game week. So this is why the models will have Cole Palmer as the obvious captaincy shout this game week. I mean, Chelsea 2.68 projected goals versus Burnley. And like I said, Liverpool not a million miles far off of City. 0.5 in the difference, which is also the difference of expected points for Salah and HAALAND this game week. If Man City win tonight, they'll be even more nervous. Exactly. That's what I was saying in my last video, Eraser, for anyone who watched that. I was saying that exact thing. Newcastle play City at 8 o'clock tonight, and then Spurs play Arsenal on 4:30 on Sunday. So if City win this game, especially with flying colours, I cannot imagine the pressure these Arsenal players are going to feel, and something that they're not going to be used to. Who to start between Enzo or Sarr this game week? I think I would play... It's a weird one, because Sarr's on penalties. That's tough. But I'd have to play Enzo. Oh, reluctantly though. No, you know what? I would play Sarr for the penalties. Every week, I think Ekitike will kill my rank. And I think this could be another one in which he could kill my rank. I agree with that. Who to start between... Sorry, I answered that already. Alright, let's get back to my own team again. And you know what? I need to move that voice captaincy armband. Just in case, because I think people were forgetting that, HAALAND did get a nice little rest in that last game we played. Anish, good to see you, my boy. For anyone who is a channel member, we did do a members video call last night for the first time. Again, channel members are just another nice way to support the channel. Nothing is gatekept. I do often say that. But very nice to meet. I had 10 people on the call. I got to meet 10 other of my members. And it was so nice because it was just very wholesome. A lot of people who've been there since the start. And it was great to see faces to a lot of names that I've been speaking to consistently. So, hello Anish, good to see you, my man. 55% are on HAALAND this game week, 23% on Palmer. I didn't know Palmer was owned by so many people. And thank you for everyone who's voted on that poll. Sorry, I just tried to pull it up. Let's actually do a little scroll on the timeline, shall we? I did post some live, I did, okay. Already watching, says Isaac. Good to see you, Isaac. Good afternoon, Choylad, says Kit. Good to see you, Kit. What is Prostio? I'm sorry for the bench wankery, but my first bench is coveted spot. Let's see who he's gone with. He's locked in already. Ekitike in for Potts then. Very solid team from Prass, who had a very good game week last week. I was delighted for him last week. Because he's been having a hard time this season, in fairness, and it's good to see one of the GOATs do well again. Pascal's strike is in for Con, and Thiago is also in. So many people shifting towards Igor Thiago. It is quite scary when I think of it. All right, let's see if we can get anything on the timeline, anything interesting. I'm excited to watch this first game with Igor Tudor. I'll be completely honest. Alright, let's see. Where are we? Alright, nothing interesting on the timeline, lads. As of yet, anyway. We'll keep you posted. The physio guy is doing great. Yeah, the physio guy is doing great. In fairness to him. Good to see. Magic says Liverpool fans were not happy with Salah's performance against City, but maybe he's improved. He was brilliant versus Brighton in the Cup. Since Dango comes back with a risk, would you rather buy Rayan? I don't think I would rather buy Rayan. I don't think so. Dango's used to the league. Rayan is still new, even though he's done well for me. Hello Choi says MK. He's got a triple benching headache. Mukiele, Timber, Shalaba, Munoz, Royce, Enzo, Njai, Krupi, bench 3, or possible bench boost. That is definitely a possible bench boost. I'm not going to lie to you. So for me, the certainties in that list of players is Shalaba, Munoz, Royce, Enzo, Njai. Mukiele, Timber, and Krupi you can bench, to be honest. But benching those 3, I mean, they could all do well this game week. Spacine says Zidane to France is interesting. I don't know if that's completely confirmed. I know it popped up on the timeline, but don't know how solid that is. But yeah, I don't think that's a surprise. I think that was only a matter of time if it is true. Okay, just back to my team. Fasal says I'm 20k and I love listening to your FPL, man. Big up, 100%. Thank you, Fasil. Much love, and I've been enjoying the journey, even though it's not gone where I wanted. MK says thanks a lot, mate. Good luck to you. No worries at all. Have 4 free transfers, says Airfan. What do you think about my team? Sanchez, Timber, Gabriel. 5k to 12k. I mean, you're doing phenomenal. Bench Alderete, Mane, Anderson. I would bench Alderete and Mane. I think that's a great team. 4 free transfers, I'd probably just keep doing what you're doing because that team looks great on paper. I'm not going to lie to you. So I would probably hold the 4. Bro, would you do Thiago in for Haaland and Salah in for Rice as I want to go differential? I'm in the exact same boat. And I'm unsure if I'd go Ekitike over Thiago. It's something that's also playing on my mind. I'm tempted to do Ekitike for team strength and fixtures. But would I do it? I don't think it's a bad move, if I'm being completely honest. I do not think it's a bad move at all. Just selling Haaland this game week is so dangerous. You're playing with fire there. You're asking for trouble. Therefore, I'm willing to do it. Anyway, let's do a more general question in chat. Who's in here, first off? We've got a good few questions coming in, but let me know in chat. What do you have for breakfast? Again, I always ask this question because it's very telling on your personality. Anto says, I have a benching headache too. I have to bench one of Timber, Shalaba, or Hill. I would be benching Timber, in that case, Anto. Who would you bench between Royce and Krupi? Definitely benching Royce. Definitely benching Krupi, sorry. I'll be playing Royce. For me, I had eggs and toast with a black coffee. And that is what I have nearly every single morning. I prefer watching you over any other content creators. Much love. Thank you. Very kind words. And we are on the road to 10k, by the way. Only 393 away from hitting a massive 10k. Weetabix and blueberries, Mup, says Kit. Very solid breakfast, I can't lie. Very popular in Ireland. I don't know if... Kevin also has Weetabix. What's going on? I was going to say, I don't know if Weetabix are popular outside of Ireland. Let me know, guys, in chat what you have. And are you a tea or coffee man? I'm actually going to do another little scroll on the timeline. Let's see what we got here. Meerkat is locked in, rolling the transfer. 5 eggs, toast, blueberries, and coffee. Harren, that's very similar to what I have. Multi-grain, Cheerios, Mucho coffee, breakfast porridge, coffee and fruits like most mornings. Very good, Magic. Very similar to myself. Like I have pretty much the same thing. You've been spamming yogurt bowls during exam season in January, and the habit remains in now. I mean, I don't think you could have a better breakfast. Crumpets. It's the most English thing ever with peanut butter and jam. With a cup of green tea. Very nice way. No breakfast, Tot says. He He fasts. Let me know in chat if anyone is fasting. I'd be interested to hear if you are. I think that's so cool. Caramel frappuccino for breakfast, Basine. Coffee for now, painkillers and stress relievers after games. Very good, Visser. Coffee and dumplings, lamb, meat and leek filling. That's very interesting, villainous villain. Let me know where you're from. I think that might be a bit of a traditional breakfast. Should I sell Ekatike and Thiago this game week? What? Should I sell Ekatike and Thiago this game week? I don't think so. Me, I'm fasting. Very good, Ahil. So when can you eat? Enlighten me. How do you find the fasting? I find it so interesting. I'm not someone who does that, of course, but I love hearing, your journey with it. And much respect for doing it. No brekkie fasting. I wonder which footballers today will be fasting. Mo Salah. FPL Nightmare, good to see you. And again, very kind words from what you said on Gianni's channel. Again, I have popped into some of your content. I've been intrigued to see what you're doing, and I love the way you do things, I'll be honest. On wildcard, my defence is Gabriel, Mukiele, Hill, Ayer and Roden. Rodgers in midfield, aggressive move to rank chase. Defence rotates great. Would you get Anderson in for Rodgers to get Virgil in for one of the defenders? I don't think I'd do that, Nightmare. For me, I'm very, very high on Morgan Rodgers. Again, you know what you're going to get with Morgan Rodgers. 90-minute man, which Emery absolutely adores. If Villa are going to score, he's usually amongst the goals. I think that's fair to say. His DEFCON numbers have actually been, interesting, I think, to monitor in the last few weeks. 13 versus Newcastle, and 11 versus Bournemouth. Now, he won't get it in this Leeds game, I don't think. I don't think that at all. But I still feel like there's an off chance of penalties for me. I know it's not very popular. But I really like Rodgers, and I am very high on him. In comparison to Anderson with the new manager, Nightmare, I just don't know. I think you can be quite confident that Anderson is going to tick away nicely. I think it really goes to what type of manager are you? For me, I would always go for a Rodgers rather than a Virgil, for example, and Anderson. Anderson is a great pick in his own right, great value. But I do quite like that defence as is. Saying that though, I do like the defence, but it is very thin, and I think that's fair to say. Virgil is very good because he has that fixture in 31. But I would still opt for the route of going with Rodgers personally. And lads, I'm going to say it until the end of the season, until we see who's on penalties for Villa, but my money is still on Morgan Rodgers. I just feel it in my bones. After sunset, Spacine. Very good. Kit is intermittent fasting and water fasts are very, very good for the health. Exactly. I often fast in the morning before my breakfast. Usually I don't eat too late. Mr. Asian Choi says, FPL MFZ says, would you do Kuna, Trossard, Manny out for Rayan, Dango and Thiago for -4? I don't think I'd take a -4. Look, Trossard is back. You're probably not starting Manny anyway. Rayan and Dango, no, I wouldn't do it for a -4. I can sense a fellow gym bro. Yeah, I am a fellow gym bro. I've been well at it the last few weeks. And if you have been yourself, great to see. I mean, on my timeline on Twitter, I've seen so many people posting their fitness journey with running in the FPL crew. So, great to see. And, it's nice to see other hobbies come out of FPL and people be able to converge together. Nightmare says he's been watching the last half an hour, thoroughly enjoying it. Appreciate the confirmation bias. Echoes my thoughts. Keep up the great work, mate. Always a good day to find a very watchable talent. Thank you. No, it's what I try to do. I mean, I feel like even with yourself, Nightmare, we see the content creator bubble. Not that I have an issue with it, but it's good. It's refreshing to see other content, and it's why, again, your content appeals to not only myself but many others. I mean, particularly the content creators. It's great to see the content creators are so interested in your content as well. Choi, if you had Pedro, would you consider captain versus Haaland? It's a tough one. I don't think I would do it. Look, you've got your points from Pedro in recent weeks. I would be more than happy to take my points from Pedro and just have Pedro. I feel like this could be a great week for both Palmer and Haaland. Saying that, I'm considering selling Haaland this game week. So it's a weird one, but I don't think I would go. If you were holding on to Haaland this game week, I would just go with Haaland. Saliba, sorry, wrong question. Ekitike, Salah, Saliba are all fasting and more. I didn't know Saliba was fasting this game week. So you're telling me I'm bringing in 2 players for Ramadan, Ekitike and Salah, who I do know are fasting. Potentially out for Haaland, who was rested. And Declan Rice. Maybe I need to second guess that. Well, Ekitike fasting, he's going to be hungry for goals. Love that. Sharp says he's copy and pasted from Twitter. Villain. It's not true. I don't know what is going on there. Sharp. We break at sunset at around 5:30, but it's going up every day by a minute or two. So how would you judge, that the sun is down? Now, I know that might sound like a stupid question. Obviously, the sun is down when you cannot see the sun anymore and it's behind the equator, let's say. But, is there a time frame for every day? I know you said 5:30 there and you said it goes up by a minute or two, but is it exactly 5:32? You wait for it on the button? I think that's really interesting. Who to start, Senesi or Krupi? I'd be starting Senesi for me. One more membership from Anto. Very good, Anto. Much love, man. You don't need to. But really appreciate it. I wonder who's going to win it. And let's see if I have any memberships to give out. I don't know if I do. I actually do. I have 5 memberships to gift out. So at past, for those of you who want to stick around until past, we'll give away 5 memberships. And you will have to spam something in chat. And Anto, if you want to send in your one before then, you're more than welcome. Sell Rice for Semenyo this game week. Absolutely. If you don't mind having a player who's going to blank for 31, by all means. Hold on. What if I done Rice to Semenyo this game week? Hold on. That's after just clocking in my mind. If I do Rice to Semenyo this game week and Haaland and Ekitike next game week, how does that look? Let me pencil that in. I think that's very interesting. So something like that. And then Semenyo for Rice, because I can afford it. There it is. Thank you, Anto, for the gifted membership. Mr. Cappy is after winning it. Congrats, Mr. Cappy. All gifters are legends. That's absolutely right. Alright, so you know what? Let's actually do the 5 gifted memberships now. Spam... what will we spam to be able to get involved? Let's spam the highest scoring player for game week 27. Who you got? For me, I'm actually going to go with Semenyo. Let me know in chat who you got. Antoine Semenyo is going to be the man for me. Quite engaging stream. Much love, Duncan. And then we'll gift out the 5 memberships. So do spam in chat. Do hit the like button and subscribe if you aren't already. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to check out a potential move that I could be making this game week. Highest scoring game week 27 asset. Spam it in chat, lads, and then we'll gift out the 5 memberships before we hit the 1 hour mark. Palmer, Visser says Villainous. Van de Ven says Visser. Vert says Kith. Sumta says Thiago. So I can get to Semenyo through Rice, 0.9 million in the bank. Captain Haaland. Next game week, perhaps do the double switch. It's so weird because I'd be bringing in a player blanket. Sorry, in 31. But like I said, it is not a big deal next game week. Then if I want to get rid of Enzo and Haaland for Salah and Ekitike. Can I afford that, Ekitike, next week? I can't afford Ekitike, so it means I would have to go to Thiago, which is, again, not an issue at all. Then I get him for that Burnley fixture and captain Salah versus West Ham. Lads, that looks great to me. And the reason I also quite like that, sure, I drop a fixture for Semenyo, but if I bring in Haaland, or if I bring in Salah, another one in. Sharp in here, up the try, up the Villa. Good luck all. Much love, Sharp. All your guys' submissions are in. Let me do that 5 gifted memberships right now. So while you guys are in here. All right. Here we go. 5 gifted memberships coming in now. Who we got? Ryan Giggs. Congratulations all, W chat. So we have Ghostface winner, KWBNA, Akwe Low Z Zozao, and FPL Shane Era. Congratulations, lads. Do show your face in chat. And again, good to see so many engaged in here. We have another 5 to gift out. I mean, if we hit 200 live viewers, we might gift them out. But great to see you guys who have won them. Do show face in chat. I'm just playing around, lads, with the move of potentially doing Semenyo. There's a reason why I like it and a reason why I don't like it. It does put me another transfer behind, which I don't know if I'm willing to do. But Semenyo is just such a good prospect, lads. Congratulations to those who've won one. Thanks for membership, says KW. No worries at all. Congratulations, man. Robin Roos versus Fulham, or Kelleher versus Brighton. For me, it would be Kelleher, I want to say. It's a tough one. Brighton are always somehow nick a goal, but I think my preference would be Kelleher. It is tough, though. Jitley says, bench one of Timber, Cash and Alderete. I would be benching Alderete, personally. Again, it's very close. Semenyo's killing my rank, so brought him in this game week. Bench him in 31. Yeah, you have to bench him in 31. Lads, I'm just playing with the idea of getting Semenyo this game week. I just feel like there's so much upside there from a Declan Rice. Saying that though, Rice is good this game week. Not phenomenal, not as explosive as what Semenyo could be, but definitely brilliant. And then in 29, I could maybe move a Timber down, or actually play Timber this game week and move him on next game week in 30. Something like that, I want to say. And then 30 looks... Actually, Timber has a good fixture in 30, so I'll just sell him in 31, maybe. Ooh, that's tough. Like, I can go 2 ways. I can just bring in Semenyo and ride out the fact that you know, if I want to captain Haaland this game week, well then I'm double down on getting Semenyo. I could go the other route and just go bring in Salah and Ekitike, go full aggressive differential. It's very tempting. I'm not going to lie to you. Chat, let's do a poll in chat. Salah and Ekitike, Haaland and Semenyo. I think the obvious answer is probably Haaland and Semenyo. It's 2 moves to get rid of Haaland and Rice, which is not necessary. But again, it's the upside of Salah with his fixtures to come. It's different though, because Haaland and Semenyo are on for the league, so man, that's tough. I mean, let's just say for this particular game week, you probably fancy City. Just looking at some of the projections again. And the thing is, I could also do both. Well, not Ekitike, but I could go to Thiago next game week, which is also great. Yeah, City 2.23, higher than Liverpool, of course. That's like asking who wins the title. Yeah, if I bring in Salah, you have to armband him. Yeah, I mean, you have to. Salah, la la la, and Ekitike, TK. Yeah, the thing is though, when you consider the 2 boys are on Ramadan, does that play a part in it? Or does that mean they're going to be even better? Fasted, clear mind. I wonder, I'd be so interested to see how professional footballers manage, you know, Ramadan around this period. Imagine the seasons when Salah bags a brace. Yeah, that wouldn't be great. But if I consider that City are on for league, which I do, I mean, I gotta back City. Getting rid of all my City assets when they're on for the league, and they have arguably the second best fixture this week. Surely, like, that is silly. As much as I want to do Salah, and just bring in Salah next week when he's got West Ham at home. Yeah, lads, I'm feeling that. I love that. I know it seems stupid because I have to set myself another transfer behind, and in 31, then I probably have, I have to play with either 10 men or use 2 free transfers to build my team towards the potential double in Game Week 33. Now, I know there's a lot of question marks coming out of the double, or coming to what's to come for the double in Game Week 33. Sorry, my English is not Englishing. Realistic again. Like I've been saying, you're going to want a player who's playing in 31 but doubling in 33. Do you know who has a double in 33? Well, likely to double in 33 and has a fixture in 31? Mo Salah. So it is extraordinary. It's so tempting. And so I'm just trying to think, right? What people are going to be doing. Let's just say in theory, all of these happen. Somehow all of these happen. Or everyone we expect qualifies, and this is what ends up happening. A lot of people will be wildcarding in 32, no doubt, after the blanks. You're going to have a lot of Arsenal, Palace, maybe, and you're going to have triple Arsenal, or triple Liverpool, sorry. So that means I would probably have to go to a Virgil here. Again, I'm just looking if I set up my team for 33. Sorry, I know I'm neglecting chat, guys. I'll get back to you in just a second. So Virgil in there. And it probably means holding Gabriel and maybe doing... you know what? Would I be too bothered playing 10 men in Game Week 31 if it meant getting to something a bit more solid in 33? I can't believe I'm trying to persuade Choi to get Mo Salah. What on earth is happening? Yeah, it is kind of insane. Davis. 1 point. So, I could bring Mane to someone who's for 5.7, which is probably no one. No point sending Gabriel because he's a double in 33 and fixtures for the rest of the season are phenomenal. No chance to be selling Semenyo. So, Manoz probably has to go. I know he's got a potential double in 33 as well, but he's probably the one that has to go. And who for? I mean, another Liverpool defender? Surely not. For now, let's just say Konate, for argument's sake, because we're going to go for a player who plays in 31 and has a double in 33. So that means we would have 3 free transfers going into 33, and this is how the team would look. Now, just to know, I've already used my bench boost, so I only need to set up a team of 11. Which is perfect. And that would probably mean no Erling Haaland in Game Week 33. I'm going to have to make my bed and lie in it. But that would be fine with me, because if this double game week happens for Liverpool, I will triple captain Salah. I have my triple captain, and it's why. It's another incentive to go with Salah, because it'll be a captain that other people will not have. Imagine that, lads. Triple captain, Everton, Crystal Palace, 2 teams who Salah can do very, very well against. Then use 3 free transfers. They get in 3 doublers here. So, to be honest, you wouldn't mind playing a Rodgers or a Bruno. You're probably going to want to hold Bruno after anyway, I want to say. Krupi probably doesn't start there. So, you probably would go... I'm just trying to think. If I were... Do you go Declan Rice again? Yeah, 33 is going to be quite difficult to navigate, especially if I go down the Salah route. This isn't the old Salah. Maybe my way out is Iliman and Ndiaye as well. Sorry, lads, I'm just weighing up potential moves that I can make. Anyway, maybe we won't think that far in the future, and this week I just do Rice to Semenyo, which I really fancy. Rice to Semenyo, Haaland captain, have both of them for the double up if we expect City to do well. And that will make it very hard for me if that does do very well in 28. And the reason for that is because, you know, selling Haaland if he does well after coming back off a brace, for example, is going to be tough. But that West Ham fixture at home is just so appealing. Yeah, Royce to Semenyo is so tempting. I agree. Hmm. Good to keep the mind ticking. How long do we have left? We have 55 minutes until the end of the stream. Have any of you guys done um, Royce to Semenyo? I think it's probably one of the most popular ones this week. Who to start? Virgil, Gabriel, Chalkboard, Senesi, Richards. Chalkboard? Virgil, Gabriel. I would definitely start Virgil, Gabriel, and Senesi. Chalkboard. Shalaba. Virgil, Gabriel, and Shalaba. I'd start. Um, let's do another little scroll on the timeline to refresh the mind. Hope you're enjoying the stream, by the way, lads. Do hit the like button if you haven't already. We're after gaining a significant amount of subscribers this stream. Appreciate you guys for joining me as usual. Let's see what we got on here. Interesting. Chewy's locked in. Have many people done the Semenyo move? I think it's very, very popular. City down 0.9. Semenyo is just that good at football. And look at his predicted lineup. I mean, if he's playing up top with HAALAND, that's scary, man. That team is scary. And they'll be well up for this game, lads. I know it. I think it might be time for Semenyo, lads. And it's so annoying because that means I haven't probably played my wildcard as good as I probably could have, because the idea would have been to roll with as many as possible. But it's just too tempting. Perfect Saturday to rot in a sofa. Yeah, I think I'm actually at a work meeting today. Or not a work meeting, a work day at the yard. I'm 0.1 to get off to get Semenyo. That is frustrating. That is very, very frustrating. You know what, lads? This is tough for me because I think both Salah, Ekatike, Semenyo, and HAALAND are all going to do well this game week. Genuinely, I think all of them are going to do quite well. I know that's probably sitting on the fence, but that's why I want to do both of them. Like, I wish I could have all four. Is there any way? I'm just saying interior. If I was on wildcard, is there any way to fit all four of them in? I don't think so. Let's just say interior. That probably means going with no Bruno. No Bruno, no Bueno. Yeah, there's no way you're fitting those four in. No chance. Already have Gabriel starting. Would you play, or who would you play out of Dango, Krupia, and Timber? I would play Dango if you have him. Try bench in order headache. Mane, Anderson. Who would you bench first? I would bench Mane. Sorry, to answer your question, Mane would be last on my bench. And Anderson of Fulham would be first on my bench, I think. It'd be close between both Andersons, to be honest. I'm going to go back on the timeline. I want to see if more people are bringing in Semenyo. Troy, is it essential to have a third forward alongside Thiago and HAALAND? Essential? Absolutely not. But if you do have an Ekatike, I think it looks very well. I'd have absolutely no complaints with that. Let's look at this. Let's look at this goals conceded thread from Charlie. It just tells you in which the areas players are getting goals. Spurs have a weakness on left wingers and attacking mids. The reason for that is because Pedro Porro is useless at defending. Tross and Martinelli look great, I would agree, especially if Saka if he starts in the 10. Agree. Let's take a look at this list actually. I saw this and I was absolutely outraged by it. How Harry Kane is 33rd. For me, Harry Kane is top 10 easily. In terms of player, like I've never seen that like him. Semenyo has been a bit of a comfort blanket for quite a few weeks now. He's that good, Semenyo. Lads, who is your top 10 in this? Or what's not right with this list? Harry Kane has to be in the top 10. Rooney said Kane was a better striker. No, obviously Rooney's, he's humble. These lists are always, I agree. I think Kane is probably 10th on this list. Maybe ahead of Lampard and Keane. It's hard to compare a striker to midfielder, of course, and I do respect how good they are, but lads, Kane is... I still think he's underappreciated how good exactly he was, or is. Semenyo should be top 5 on this list. Yeah, Jorgen, exactly. Semenyo, how is Semenyo not on this list? That is fucking brilliant. Dennis Bergkamp. You can't be in the top 10 if you haven't won a league. I mean, that's fair. That's fair, Davis. I can understand that, right? But I see a Steven Gerrard here, who, again, Steven Gerrard, 10 million % deserves to be in the top 10. No, I'm not saying that. But, just saying, Kane is easily top 10. 33 is ridiculous. Cantona third is wild. Salah 25th, that's a joke. Yeah, Salah should be ahead of Kane, and they should both be in the top 10. Surely, not everyone can disagree with that. Surely, at least in the top 20, Kane and Salah should be here. KDB 24th is a joke. Yeah, I missed that. KDB 24 is also a joke. See, it's hard because... Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you could easily argue Kane, De Bruyne, and Salah should be on this left-hand column. I think that's without a doubt. Without a doubt, not arguable. But it's tough because, like, different generations, there's always that debate. I'm going to bleach my eyes out after seeing this. How is Hazard above Salah? That's just stupid. I've never understood that. Like, I understand Hazard is... And I know what he was because I seen him. But above Salah, never. Never, ever, ever. How Hazard is ahead of Scholes? What is going on, like? Hello, Yash. How you doing, bro? All good? KDB is the best midfielder in Prem all time. I don't know if he's the best midfielder of all time in the Prem, but he's definitely up there. And he's definitely something a bit different. He grabs games by the scruff. We've not seen someone like him. Alright, still nothing interesting on the timeline. Lads, as we currently speak, with how long was left on the stream? 46 minutes. I'm leaning towards bringing in Semenyo. And it's weird because it really goes against kind of what I want to be doing, making transfers. But what kind of has made me have a realization is that I have really been playing off this blank in 31. I've not been bringing in players who I know are probably going to do well because of it. The fact that City are just so high, even though they blank in 31 in this list, tells me that it's a risk worth taking. I mean, how are you second in this list with a blank in 31? This still doesn't sit well with me. That can't be right. That's ridiculous, like. And that's why I quite like the move in Gameweek 28 rather than 27 to do Salah in, because again the tide in terms of goals is quite close. So I gain 0.6 by going. Let's just say if from a team strength perspective, 0.6 with Haaland and Semenyo, then I drop Haaland for Salah, so I gain 0.5. Here it's really close, 0.3, 0.1, but then it's made up 1.7 because again the fixture that Salah has. Where's Odegaard on the list? Absolute joke of a player. Agreed. What a player. Thoughts on Timber, Rice, to Virgil van Dijk plus Rodgers? I like that. Absolutely no issues with that at all. Am I scared of the Arsenal guys going against Spurs? Not necessarily. I mean, I think the boys will be up for it. We have nothing to lose other than potentially being relegated, but no one expects us to win this game. Semenyo for a hit? For a hit, probably not. How is Hazard above KDB? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Kante 35th, won the league back to back with different teams. Yeah, what a player Kante was, man. What a player. Okay, let's do just to keep you guys engaged. Who do you have all-time 3 Premier League players? Top 3 all-time Prem. No, let's not do that. Sorry. Let me backtrack. Hold on. Stay put. All-time Prem 5-a-side team. Who you got? So you got to have one goalkeeper, 1 or 2 defenders. And again, 1 or 2 attackers / midfielders. Who you got? They don't have to necessarily be the best players. They can be your vibe 5. I'll let you guys spew a few out before I say mine. Okay. Again, I want to keep scrolling on the timeline. I want to see what other people are doing. Not that it's going to determine what I'm going to do, but I do find it interesting. Fran is rolling and captaining Palmer. See, that's what I love, man. He's got Ekitike, Szoboszlai, and double Chelsea attack. It's just so different, and you can gain so many points on that. Hi, Troy. The next 2 game weeks, I want to sell 4 players: Verbergen, Timber, Rice, and Enzo. I have 3 free transfers. Currently thinking Dango, Verts, and Virgil, and leave Verbergen, although I hate him. Yeah, I don't mind that, Yusuf. I think all 4 of those players are definitely sellable next game week. Dango, Verts, and Virgil. Yeah, I love those moves. I mean, I have no complaints with those at all. Bergkamp, Hullet, and Stam. That's a solid 3 Visser. Schmeichel, Van Dijk, Ferdinand, Scholes, Henry. Yeah, Henry probably has to be in it. I love that Ahmed. Where are we? Hi, Troy, would you start Wilson or Mane this week? I would definitely start Wilson. Check, Rio, Cole, Vieira, Scholes, Henry. That's 6 players, but I still love that, Davis. 6 players for a 5-a-side. No, that's check, Rio, Cole, Vieira, Scholes, Henry. Schmeichel, Virgil, Scholes, Henry. Lars Bender. Sharp says -4 for Watkins to Ekitike. Yes, I would, because I won't be confident in Watkins starting this game. Exactly, I agree with that. Tammy might start. De Gea, Terry, VVD, Gerrard, KDB. Check, Terry, Gerrard, Henry, CR7. Oh, Ashley's on the bench. Yusuf says check, Virgil, KDB, yeah, Henry, CR7. Yeah, for me, if I'm making a 5-a-side team, right, that's what I'd be considering. I would go with for 5-a-side. I would go with Ederson. Again, you need to consider the best 5-a-side team now. So I'll go with Virgil, because for me, he's in terms of one-on-one defenders in a 5-a-side. He would take up half the AstroTurf in a 5-a-side. He's huge and a presence about him. Not that the other guys aren't. I'd also have Yaya Toure. Yaya Toure is a fucking brilliant one to have in 5-a-side. I would have Harry Kane. I feel like he's just brilliant. And I would have Ronaldo. Just a bit of flair, go around the AstroTurf, doing a few step overs. Why not? That's not the best 5-a-side. That's the 5-a-side I'd love to see. Would you captain Enzo? I don't think I'd personally captain Enzo. De Gea, Virgil, Van Dijk, Lampard, Mo, and Henry. Yeah, Henry is probably should be there. But again, I'd just go with Kane. I'd be happy enough with Kane. Alright. Let's talk business then. Let's see how my team looks then if I pencil in an Antoine Semenyo for a Declan Rice. I love the move, I'll be honest. For 0.5 million, you get a bit more, even though he blanks in 31. No issue at all for me. Who else we got then? Okay. My problem with that move again is 31. Can I survive getting out of 31? Like, 31 is not necessarily the issue. It's getting out of 31. That could be some hassle. Haaland or João Pedro for captain. Still would be Haaland for me. Who would you say is essential to get on wildcard 27? If I was on wildcard, lads, I would have Salah. Not that he's essential, but I would definitely... And I see Salah in your Avi there. I would definitely have him. How would you rank Henry, Rooney, and Aguero? As is, Henry, Rooney, Aguero. And I don't think there's any debate about that for me. Would you start Timber or Kieran Dewsbury-Hall? I would start Kieran Dewsbury-Hall if you think that Timber is going to concede. It's that easy. Mbeumo, keep or sell. I have no problem holding on to Mbeumo. Captain Haaland, Ekitike or Bruno? Haaland for me. Again, I just still feel like City are on for the title. So they could absolutely bury Newcastle in this game. Mahrez in a 5-a-side team. Love that. That's the type of pick I'm talking about. I'm off, guys, says Visser. Best of luck, Visser. Thank you for joining as usual. I hope you enjoy the weekend, my friend. Let me know in chat what games you'll be watching this week. For me, it's been a while, so I think I will consume some sort of games this week. I'll definitely watch City Newcastle. And the game for me will probably be Villa over a Chelsea game. You know, I do want to watch a Chelsea game, but I think I prefer the Villa game, if I'm being honest. Palmer triple captain, bold, brazy. Don't mind it though, to be honest. Don't mind it at all. This is just another one of those games though with Palmer. Like, he could easily get another 60 minutes. Like, you would not be surprised. Wilson, keep or sell. Wilson, keep. Musa Dembele 5-a-side. Yeah, I didn't want to include Musa because I did feel like Yaya Toure is what people talk about Musa Dembele to be. Does that make sense? Like, if Musa Dembele lived up to the hype, he would be Yaya Toure. Even though they're not the same player, because Yaya Toure is an absolute output merchant. Well, he was. But, you know, I just feel like that's the type of big, great with the ball, powerful runner he was. And no, I'm not comparing Yaya Toure to Musa Dembele. You know what I'm trying to say. Gyökeres to Ekitike or Roll. Gyökeres to Ekitike. Have to bench one of Rodgers and Mbeumo or Rice. Who would you leave out? Rice. Choose two of Anderson, Hill or Richards. I would choose Anderson. Actually, no, I wouldn't. I would play definitely Richards. Would be one I'd be starting. And you know what? I think I might just start Elliot Anderson. Start Nico O'Reilly or Mukiele. Nico O'Reilly. Timber to Virgil this week. Yes, Nike. Yes. Sorry, I need to answer one of my friends who asked a question about his team. Keane to Hill and putting him in. Keane to Hill is solid. Anyway, let me get back to chat. Sorry, guys. Rayan for Kuna / Shirky. Rayan Shirky. Rayan for Kuna. No, I do for Shirky, for sure. Kuna, I don't think you'd mind rolling with. You think Palmer plays 60? They have a 1 week break after Burnley. Yeah, but the problem necessarily isn't the fast turnovers for Palmer. He's just carrying something. Like, I think in any situation in which you can rest Palmer, if you're up 3-0 at half time, I don't know why you'd give him more time. I could be wrong. I'm just very skeptical. Even still. Ederson, Rio, David Silva, Santi Cazorla, Firmino is actually the only right answer. I mean, yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's tiki-taka right there. What to do with Lacroix if I have him instead of Minoz? Sell. Why are you benching Timber? Because I think Senesi provides a bit more for me than Timber this game week. Yeah, I would still captain Palmer even if you told me he got 60 minutes, to be honest. Xavi to Dango or Xavi to Rodgers and Ekitike to a 7.7 million forward. And by the way, again, let me answer this question. Xavi to Dango or Xavi to Rodgers and Ekitike to 7.7 million forward. Xavi to Rodgers. And Ekitike. Oh no, I wouldn't be selling Ekitike. I wouldn't sell Xavi for Dango. I don't. I think that's just sideways at this point. I know he plays against Arsenal, but I don't know. I would just wait a week and then he can do moves without taking a hit. What was the thing I was getting at? So even though Semenyo sets me back a player in game week 31, no doubt about that. But I think he can gain me 4+ points on what Rice would do over the next few. So therefore, I think it's justified. Forest at home and then West Ham away. I mean, that is just too good. Bench 2 of Royce, Gahey, Timber, Anderson. I would bench Anderson and I would bench Timber. Start 1, Timber, Mukiele, Anderson. Start 1, I would start tough one, man. I mean, in that case, I probably would just start Timber. Like, I'm not saying Timber is a bad option, but I just think Senesi is a better one for me this game week. Palmer playing 90 versus Leeds gives me hope. I guess, yeah. I done the Timber, Royce to Semenyo, Virgil. Yeah, solid moves, thought. For sure. Semenyo is good, but you have thought about Wirtz. I have a feeling he's going to bang right now. Yeah, I have thought about Wirtz. But for me, like, comparing Wirtz and Semenyo from an output perspective is incomparable. Semenyo is that explosive asset. Not that Wirtz isn't, but I think throughout the season we've seen how explosive Semenyo is. Cactus Jack, my friend, good to see you. I hope you're well. How's it going? Unbiased score prediction for North London Derby. 1-1 draw. 1-1, I'm going to say. That's the thing though. Like, if I look at the other options I can replace Rice with if I'm not going Semenyo. Going Semenyo makes it difficult for me later down the line. His minutes have been so good, man. Sorry, just scrolling through then. I can afford Wirtz, but he's 0.4 more expensive than Semenyo. Wirtz versus Mbeumo. Again, Wirtz for me, fixtures until 31 are better. Doesn't sound unbiased to me, says Ahmed. That is so fair. The thing with Wirtz is he looked really good the last few games. He has, I've no doubt about that. And with their fixture run, he's the guy I wish I have. I can't go home, but I really recommend him. I'd keep Rice this week though. Fair. I can understand that. I think next week is the week you do want the Liverpool boys for sure. And that's why I'm so tempted. Another thing I could do, in theory, is to actually do Semenyo this week and do Timber to Virgil or Timber to Kanate, open up some funds, and that doesn't have to be done this week, it can be done next game week. 1.6 in the bank then, and then do Ekitike. It's probably not worth taking a hit. Never mind. I thought I had an extra transfer. My bad. Alright, I'm going to make my move soon. I think it is necessary. Thoughts on Rayan? Good, but for me, I'm not with the Rayan hype too much, I'll be honest. Thoughts on Semenyo from 27-30? Phenomenal. I mean, again, I keep referring back to the Rob T graph, but great. Some people going without City assets. Yeah, I love this team. Like, Semenyo's the one for me. It's either you go Semenyo this week or roll and get Wirtz next week. Well, I'm considering Salah next week. Have you thought about Thiago? I have thought about Thiago, and I'm thinking next week. Next week, I'm thinking Salah and Thiago for that Burnley fixture and West Ham fixture. Really just go for it. And then triple captain Salah in 33 if it comes to it. Bench one of Timber, Cash, and Krupi. I'll be benching Krupi in that case. Champions League coming, so Semenyo minutes is not sure. He will play UCL. That is true, but like so far this season, I know obviously we've not seen it in some of the bigger games. If I just pull up Manchester City and look at the fixtures to come, Salah is risky. He is definitely risky, but I actually just feel like it's a risk worth taking. Why not? At this stage of the season, you know, we have 11 game weeks to go. Why not play with a bit of risk? Something that I've done throughout the whole season. And considering the fact that I've played with a lot of risk, I mean, 450k rank overall, it's not too bad. So their next Champions League game is that right? So Leeds, Forest, West Ham, and then the blank game week. So where is the Champions League? Or is it not shown here? Or actually, they're not confirmed games. That's why it's not shown. My bad. Start one, Senesi, Anderson, Garner. I would play Senesi, to be honest. I think Senesi's a little bit underrated this game week. You know, West Ham have been good, but I think it'll be a close game, a very close game. And close games equals low scoring in my mind. Royce, Evan Nilsson to Rodgers, Thiago or Royce, and Mbeumo Mane to Rodgers, Thiago. Here, what is that question? That's not even a question, that's just letters. Man City versus Real Madrid, Benfica in round 16, around game week 30. Okay, yes. So it is a bit later, which is fine. I still think, you know, Semenyo is an asset who has played every minute that he can play this season. So I still don't think I'd have too many worries. And the league is probably equally as important as that Champions League game. Start Wilson or Xavi? I would start Xavi. You know what? If I have Xavi, I just play him. At that point, I'm like, why do I have Xavi? I'll just play him. Even though it's not ideal at all. Thoughts on Rodgers captain? It's actually one that I think is slightly not looked at either. I have thought of the idea, and I actually quite like it. For me, though, he's just not better than a Haaland or a Palmer if you have him. Bench one of DCL, Dango, Enzo, Kuna, Timber. I would probably bench Timber. Again, you have DCL, Pens. Enzo might get 15 minutes of penalties. Kuna, good fixture, should get good minutes. Rice to Rodgers, I like that move. You need to bench one of Hill, Bowen, or Rice. I would be benching Hill. Let me refresh the timeline again. Alright lads, will I make that move? I just really want Semenyo. No, I don't need to make the move. I'm just looking at it now, lads. Like, I don't need to do it this game week. Why not just reassess next game week? Puts me a transfer behind. Unless, the only way it's justifiable is if I really think that Semenyo is going to massively outscore Royce this game week. Do I think that's the case? Hold on. If I do this, Semenyo in game week 27. Hold on. Let me rethink it. Semenyo in for Rice in game week 27. 2 free transfers in 28. And then I do Enzo to Salah. 0.9 off. So that means I'd have to go to rather than Ekatika, I'd have to go to Thiago, which I'm fine with. Burnley. I mean, that's nice. That is nice. Don't let your Spurs bias judge your cloud your judgment shy. It's hard, man. It's hard. New manager bounce. I can't look past it. So there is really no issue with me doing Semenyo this game week. There isn't, like, there really isn't. Because I do think he'll outscore Rice this game week. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm real stuck. I've been thinking about it all stream as I've been answering questions. Yeah, it is annoying, Henry, that they removed the most recent feed. Like, it's so annoying to have to refresh tweets from February 19th. Like, that's 2 days ago. Let me see if in my following tab if there's anything interesting here. Why are you showing me tweets from February 19th? Like, does this know the date? What is going on? Troy, would you play Timber or Cash? I would play Cash, definitely. For me, anyway. How was bench boost? We both flopped 3 points from my bench boost. You somehow got outscored by my bench boost, which is about 4 points. So I don't know how that's happened, but unlucky, man. It happens. It does happen. No biggie. Triple captain failed for a lot of people. So at least we have that, I suppose. And that can happen. That can happen. I think bench boost is probably the most unpredictable chip in the game. Realistically, like, more players blank more so than they don't. And anyone who you are bench boosting with are usually like very cheap or value budget options. So in any given game week, you don't expect them to return, but it is what it is. Evanescent Thiago, yes, I like that move. Alright, lads, I think I'm going to make that move of bringing in Semenyo. I just don't like Royce this game week. He can get DEFCON for all I care. Go for it, Royce. But Semenyo for long term just looks too good.
Wilson out towards /Shada/Shoutdara.
Thank you, Aryan, once again for the super chat. He says, Wilson out to Verts, Shade, or Tara. For me, if you can get it in one, definitely Florian Verts would be my preference. And again, assuming that you're going to be moving towards a Thiago anyway. No issues with that at all. Royce Rogers, absolutely yes. Thank you, Aryan, though, for the super chat as usual. My man, you never fail to miss out. My team's looking strong on paper this week, so you just know it's the week I get a big fat red arrow. I think what's going to determine whether or not I'm going to get a green this week is if Chelsea keep a clean sheet against Burnley. I think if I see a clean versus Burnley, I think it'll be the start of a great week. Got to run. Good luck, people. Good luck, Davis. Thank you for joining as usual. And thank you to the 140 you guys who are in here. Much love. Do hit the like button and subscribe. Again, gained a lot of subscribers in this stream. Play Buendia or Ndiaye? I would play Ndiaye. Would you do the Royce transfer for Semenyo/Verts and Timber to Virgil? I would definitely do it. Semenyo might be benched. I don't think there's any world in which Semenyo is benched personally. Royce Rogers, yes. Anton, good to see Anton. Do we know which teams are likely to double now? Again, based on the fixture projections, all the teams we've been expecting to double in 33 are projected to. And the reason for that is because how the draw has been done. All the popular teams play a team who are worse than them. So they are. So we're looking at Liverpool, City, Palace, Arsenal to double in 33. They're the main ones. Again, you have Brighton, Burnley, and Chelsea as well. Projected. Again, I say projected. They really depend on the cup games. Chelsea will concede. Yeah, like every other week it seems. Do you think Rodgers is a good pick for next week? He is. Rodgers is a phenomenal pick. Yeah, these Chelsea defenders suck, man. John Boltman, good to see you, John. How are we? Royce, baby. Do you think Shadi will start today? He is not in some predicted lineups. It's hard to say. I think if he's fully available, though, I don't see why not. I mean, he's been great this season when he's been there. Okay, one more scroll on the timeline, then I think I'm going to make the move with Semenyo. Are you doing team ratings? I don't think so, only because I'm so indecisive about whether or not I want to bring in Semenyo. Haaland captain or João Pedro? Haaland. Are you on free hit 31? No, I'm on free hit 34. Why are you starting in Ndiaye? Why not? I think he's a great option to start this game week. Where is Semenyo on the projected lists for this game week? Actually, now that I think of it, Semenyo, he doesn't feature on the top 15, whereas Royce does. What? Let me pull up the bigger graphic. Is he here? Semenyo. He's very close. 12th or 13th, which is very high for a midfielder. I mean, only 0.4 off of Mo Salah. Geez, that is awfully high. And considering it's Newcastle, like, I mean, as much as Newcastle are poor, and like, for Semenyo to be 0.41, that is mental. Palmer captain or Bruno? Palmer for sure. Can you do team reviews? Okay, since we've had a few questions, we will, but that means I need to make my decision now and screenshot my team. I think I'm going to go with Semenyo. It doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence that Royce is predicted to do better than Semenyo this week, but I think that's because, you know, Royce in any given game week is going to probably hit DEFCON more likely than not. I think that's where those projected points. So a clean sheet and DEFCON, it probably brings him up to 5, but his capability of getting more than that is way lower than Semenyo. So we do it on Twitter. I'm going to make that move now. See, the thing is, I could also just do Verts, which I also quite like, but that kind of blocks me out of doing Salah. I could go Verts and Salah. Verts this game week. Salah and Thiago next game week. Ooh. Alright, no, I know it's going to bite me in the arse later down the line, but I think it is Semenyo, lads. He's just been a powerhouse this season. I can't look past him. Has he played 90 in every game? No, bar West Ham. Jeez. I think it's Semenyo, especially because I'm, you know, happy to captain HAALAND this game week. Causing more issues than not for Game Week 31. But okay, so if I know I keep rambling on, but if I bring in Semenyo this game week and I didn't want to sell HAALAND, how do I look? It means I would have to sell 2 Arsenal assets, which is fine by me. Or sell at least another Arsenal asset, which is Timber. So if I do that in Game Week 31, I'll have this team. So that means selling Minoz, Timber. Selling Minoz and Timber, which I can do with 5 free transfers. That's no problem at all. And that's why I like the Salah route. Salah instead of HAALAND. Alright, I think this is kind of making me lock in Salah for next week, lads. That's bringing Semenyo is kind of basically telling me I have to sell HAALAND next game week because I'll have too many players blanking. And that means if I bring in Salah, I will be triple captain in game week 33 if they do get a double. So, which is more incentive for me to do it. I think I'm going to go down the route, lads. I like it. Next week, Salah and Thiago in. So, 27 Semenyo in. 28th, Thiago and Salah for Enzo. Is it Salah for Enzo? Yeah, Salah for Enzo. And that sets me up quite nicely, I think. What do you think of that, lads? Verts, differential, or HAALAND, everyone's pick. I would still go HAALAND. I have no issues with that, to be honest. HAALAND captain can never go wrong. Alright, I'm locked in. I'm happy with that. 150 you guys in. Welcome to the stream. I'm bringing in Semenyo even though I've already used my wildcard. It don't make sense really, but I just think in the next 4 game weeks, double city attack will be top. Alright, let's do it. Royce to Semenyo. Done. It feels weird because I know I'm losing the fixture in 31, even though I never had it in Rice. I need to chase the upside though. I need to start reacting. And Semenyo is just so obvious. He's sitting right in front of me. Fixtures are great. I fancy him this game week as well. For me, I think that team is great for this game week though. Again, like I said, next game week we have 2 free transfers. I could alternatively just roll next week and not get Salah. That's also on the cards, but I think sooner rather than later I'm going to want Salah because, again, Haaland won't play game week 31. So team goes something like this: Bruno captain, and that's how it looks with no transfers made. And then I'd likely do Salah in. Okay, so Semenyo's in. Let me screenshot the team so I can put it on Twitter, and you can put your teams below. We can do some ratings before we end, but I'll answer as many questions as possible before we head off. I'm pretty happy with that though, lads. Semenyo bench and income, and yeah, imagine that would go pat and pass with how the season's gone so far. Alright, a little scroll on the timeline. Anderson or Timber, please. I would just play Anderson, I think. What is going on? So I'm currently 450k, I think it is. And let's do Semenyo. We're on Twitter, lad, at FPL Shy. Royce to Semenyo. Sidewards. Chase it, or how do I word this? I'm gonna say, let me put my emoji. Likely to switch Haaland plus what's his name? Enzo next week. Haaland and Enzo to Salah plus Thiago next game week. Shock emoji. Sidewards for game week 31. What I think Semenyo can do so well in the meantime. Momentum. City are building. Alright, if you want to post your team for that in the last 10 minutes of the stream, we'll get to your questions. Captain Palmer or Semenyo? I would definitely Captain Palmer over Semenyo. Lads, I don't know why I'm getting tweets from 2 days ago. What is going on? Twitter has gone to the dogs. Alright, let's see if anyone is in here early. Imagine Semenyo got benched. I didn't see this, to be honest. But to be honest, I never trust an account with FPL in their name giving me team leaks, so I'm not worried at all. Kenny is locked in. Brian Brobby up top. Love that. That's such a cool team. Brian Brobby and Salah. And Palmer. Beautiful banner. Ooh, Joga Benito. Andrew's in here. 0.7 in the bank. 1 free transfer used. Triple captain last week. Good luck this game week. Very nice team. Antoine Semenyo and Haaland double up. I mean, I love it. Nice one. Let's give the all right. Kenny's team. I'm actually going to give a 9 for this game week in particular. I mean, that is so nice. No Haaland as well. Andrew has got. I'll give Andrew a 7. Only reason being the variation triple Arsenal defense. Isaac is gotten double Liverpool attack. Yeah, this is okay. Double Liverpool attack and double City attack. That I can get with that. That's a 9. Doesn't look the best. What moves would you do? So no, that defense needs a lot of work. I would play 3 at the back as is though, and I would play Xavi as well. Oh, or would I? 3-5. No, I play 3-4-3. Bench Xavi. No move this game week, and I give that a 7. Anthony in here. Here we go. Kai's 7. Haha, thanks. Sorry, Andrew. Peak. I mean, triple Chelsea with Burnley, double Liverpool. I didn't realise so many people had double Liverpool. Jeez. City smell blood. I don't understand moving from Haaland. Maybe next week, Sharp, because Salah's got West Ham and a fixture in 31. But I agree. Try, who would you bench? I also have 3 free transfers. I'm thinking of rolling. Would you do the same? First off, Anthony's team. Kai's. That's a 9. Again, fixtures land very well for you, Anthony. Going to bring in Verts for Palmer and Thiago for Krupi. This game week, I hope we're not doing that. Next game week, though, I quite like it. Very nice team. That's a 8. Oscar, your team. Who would you bench? Says Oscar. I also have 3 free transfers. I'm thinking of rolling. Would you do the same? I would play Gahey for Mukiele, me personally. And I would roll the rest, to be honest, unless you want to do Royce to Semenyo. Actually, I would do Royce to Semenyo if you can in one move. H.I. Kelleher and Allison. Raul starts over anyone, thanks. I would play Allison for sure. Again, new manager for Forest. So they're going to be discombobulated. And they haven't been very functional in attack anyway. And I probably would play. I'd be tempted to play Raul over Anderson, I'll be honest. But I don't think there's very much in that. That team is a solid... I'm going to say 7. Might sound a bit peak, but locked in, interesting. That's a very nice team. I'm going to give... See, I don't think Watkins... I'm not confident in Watkins' start. So I'm going to have to give that a 7. Well, a good team overall. What are you rating? This is tough. Good to see you, Chris. Chris, I like this team. We've seen it yesterday. I'm going to say a 8. I like the Cole Palmer captaincy, I have to say. I'm jealous. What I don't love is having to play Krupi, and I do feel like it is you have to play Krupi because of fixture, but not ideal. But very nice team. Iron Man is in dark mode. Again, 7 minutes until the end of the stream. I'm going to run through a few more of these and then we'll get back to any last minute questions. Again, I will be starting Gahey in this team. Like, Gahey would start over Rice for me. But, sorry, again, the team is brilliant. Actually, I would play Gahey. I'd probably play Senesi over Krupi, but overall, that's a really solid team. Again, 8. We've had no teams under a 7 yet. No Haaland. Hold on, what is going on here? This might be one under 7. Oh, bench boots. I see what's going on here. Okay. I was thinking, I was like, what is going on? No Salah, no Haaland, triple Arsenal defense. That is bold. And you know what? I respect it. And Palmer captain. That's an 8. Love that, man. That's the differential teams I love to see, man. Chai, what are your thoughts? 3 free transfers, 0.7 in the bank. I would roll. I would actually easily roll that unless you want to do Royce again to Semenyo, but not necessary. That's a solid 8.5. Up the Chai, says Sharp. And this will be the last one we'll take. Sharp, again, beautiful team, my friend. Interesting to see you're playing Alderete over Timber. For me, this team is a 7. No, that's an 8. That is an 8. I mean, harsh share. 8 for sure. Very good guys, and a lot of great teams. I mean, none under 7. And again, the fixtures are running great for this game week. Any leaks? No leaks. You've not seen mine yet. Don't worry, Sharp. We just covered it. Let's refresh the timeline to make sure we're not missing any news. Should I start Wilson or Rice? I probably would just play Rice. I mean, it's boring, but I don't mind that. Oh, sound Andrew. Came across Choi this morning on a cameo on January stream watching Choi's Deadline 2. Fantastic stuff. Wish I came across sooner. Well worth a watch. I just seen that, Andrew. Much love, man. Sorry, I was on stream and missed it. That's so nice. Too kind, Andrew. Where is the Kai's white heart? Appreciated. I was thinking 7, not gonna lie. Yeah, not far off. Sharp. Anyway, 4 minutes until the end of the stream, lads. Again, it's been a pleasure to have you all 130 you who are still in here. Harry says, love the differentials, Choi. How are we? DCL versus Wilson. Who would you start? I would play Wilson. Again, I don't fancy this fixture for Leeds. They've been very, very good, don't get me wrong, but I think it's away versus Villa. Doesn't get much tougher. Would you play DCL? Sorry, I already answered that one. Bench boost Mateus, Nunes, Alderete, and Gravenberch. That is interesting. I think I would. I do think I would, unless you want to wait until we get more information about the doubles. Play Raul or Anderson and Semenyo captain. Raul or Anderson and Semenyo worth a captain punt. He is worth a captaincy punt for sure, but like again, if you're asking me on paper, Haaland is a better option than Semenyo, and 9 times out of 10 he will be, as long as their fitness is the same. Start Simmons over Wilson. I mean, that's a flip of a coin. There's very little in that. I say that because, you know, if Anton's going to come for Spurs in this game, probably will be through Xavi, but don't be surprised to see a yellow card for Xavi. Good luck, everyone. Come on, you Spurs, says Jinx. Thank you, Anto, again for joining and sending out a super chat. Much love for supporting the channel, man. Hey, Chai, which two would you start out? Timber, Mukiele, Royce, and Wilson. One defender at least. I would play Timber over Mukiele, I think. And I would play Royce over Wilson. But barely, like, very little in Wilson and Royce. Good luck, Choi. I have Haaland and Palmer in my team, but gonna captain Palmer. Love that. I would have done the same. Palmer triple captain. I don't mind that, to be honest. Again, my preference is to wait for a double, because why not? What's your plan on the triple Chelsea assets going forward? Yeah, I'll be looking to get out of Enzo next game week, probably through getting Salah in. Salah over Enzo and Thiago over Newcastle or over Haaland I can get behind. Royce to Dango or wait till next game week. I would wait till next game. I don't think you're in any rush to do that. Xavi to Dango, Rayan or Roll. Hey mate, DCL or Anderson? I would just go Anderson. I don't see DCL getting much out of this game, if anything. Start Evan Nilsson or Harry Wilson? I would go with Evan Nilsson, I think. Just Gabriel Nunes or Richards. Bench one, please. I would bench Nunes, but horrible to bench Nunes. Bench Wilson or NZI? Bench Wilson out every day. Every day. Do you think I can captain Wirtz? Is he a good option? He's not a bad option, put it that way, but I wouldn't be doing it this game week over Haaland, Palmer, Semenyo even, Bruno. 1 minute left, guys, and again we're going to close up in a minute's time. Again, it's been another amazing stream. I've been talking since 11 o'clock with Gianni, so it's been a long 2.5 hours, but enjoyed it nonetheless. I'm just hoping that this game can be a good one, and hopefully the move can pay off for me. Again, I'm going a bit bolder, going for that fixture that's not in 31. I just feel like City are going to be on for this league. I'm confident in Semenyo's starts. I fancy him in this game versus Newcastle, so everything is pointing towards bringing him in. And if I, on the other end, think that Royce is not going to get too much, well, it makes sense for me. So, best of luck this game week, everyone. Thank you again for joining me. Much love in the chat. Can we have a W chat for everyone? Much love, lads. And I hope you enjoyed the content on here. And as usual, we're going to have a transfer plans and team selection during the week. Stay tuned. Turn on the bell if you haven't already. That way you can get content as soon as it's released. But I'm going to leave it there, lads. Again, I've really enjoyed the stream. But as usual, I will see you in the next.